What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? It is Steven here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the must-start defenses for your fantasy football teams going into Week 3. And if the first 2 weeks have shown us anything, we are in for a wild season. All the teams we thought were going to be Super Bowl contenders for sure, maybe they're not as hot as we thought, and maybe Joe Flacco is going to be winning some ball games for the Jets. But in any case, guys, make sure you hit that sub button. Make sure you come on and join the Catch fam. Enjoy this wild season with the rest of the Catch community. And we do always appreciate if you hit that like button. We always do encourage you to get in those comments. Drop some comments in there so I can give you some advice on who to be putting into your lineups every single week ahead of Sunday, whether it's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, or defense. But in any case, let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about the first defense I want to get into, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts just look like an absolute hot garbage fire mess, man. And I am a Colts fan, but it is really hard to watch, man. This unit is struggling on every single level on the opposite side of the ball. They cannot get it done. And Michael Pittman's injury, it might be done by Week 3. He might be back out there. But in any case, they only got Ashton Doolin, Paris Campbell, Mo Alley Cox, a bunch of garbage, not really good high-level skill players, right? We only have Jonathan Taylor. Whether it's been Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, or Matt Ryan, we just keep throwing out these garbage quarterbacks, and I'm sick of it as a fan. And the Chiefs are going to have an absolute frenzy on this Colts team. They're going to get it done in a big way, and it's literally not even just a matchup play. I think this Chiefs defense is absolutely killer this season. Last week against the Chargers, they got 10 fantasy points, 2 sacks, the pick 6, and this isn't even a matchup play. I mean, last week going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, led by Justin Herbert, this team got it done at a high level. 2 sacks and a pick 6. They were all over the place. In the week before that, even against Arizona Cardinals, they only got 4 fantasy points, but these are much better quarterbacks these last 2 weeks. This is going to be by far the easiest offense to scheme up against Week 3 against the Indianapolis Colts, and I think they're going to get it done in a high level. I just am very highly encouraging you guys to be going after them going into Week 3 and streaming against the Indianapolis Colts, which I think are on an absolute burner to being maybe one of the worst teams in football this season. Number 2, we're talking about another team in the AFC West on the other side. Hopefully they've got their gunslinger back under the center. Los Angeles Chargers. I'm repping them right now with Justin Herbert there. Hopefully he gets back from the rib injury. But listen, guys, this defense is much better than just a lot of hot names on paper, right? You got to watch these games, actually, because I think guys like Samuel, guys all the way from the front line to the very back of the secondary with Derwin James laying out Travis Kelce, putting his body and soul through the dirt. This defense is electric, man. They are so good, and they might get J.C. Jackson back by Week 3 as well. I think this unit is a very hungry team, right? They're coming off a big loss against Kansas City Chiefs where they only got 1 fantasy point and 1 sack. Listen, I'm not even reading into that. It was freaking Patrick Mahomes, for crying out loud. But the week before that, they had 16 fantasy points, 6 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 3 picks. This defense is going to be amazing this year. I cannot pound the table enough for this unit. I think they are going to have maybe 5 or 6 of the best weeks in fantasy football over this stretch. Listen to this. Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans, Cleveland Browns, Denver Broncos, who cannot make a decision. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is a terrible head coach. And then they got Seattle Seahawks. They've got a bye week. And then they've got the Atlanta Falcons, guys. You need to be going after the Chargers. There's no other defense out there right now that I think you need to be targeting more aggressively, guys. Get this on your team. And yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars are looking a little bit better. Christian Kirk has been very electric this season. But Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off a massive division win. I think they might have a little bit of a victory hangover, maybe overlooking it a little bit. And I think the Chargers are going to come in and they're going to absolutely decleat Trevor Lawrence and destroy that team. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Washington Commanders with the worst quarterback in NFL history, Carson Wentz. Listen, FYI, this video is being streamed on Sunday night, so we have not seen the Monday night game yet. But in any case, I'm not really too worried about it because that's going to be a hard game in any case. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings might have a pretty good performance, right? But the Eagles have a tremendous defense with a lot of turnover-hungry corners. Darius Slay and Bradbury, I think, are going to have a lot of opportunities to feast against this guy, Carson Wentz, who just looks to turn it over at every chance he has. Against Week 1, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he couldn't win the game. He had to try to find a way to lose it. Now, they ended up still getting the victory, but then in week 2 against the Detroit Lions, he made that Detroit Lions defense look like the Chicago Bears in the 50s or 60s, man. I mean, giving Aiden Hutchinson sack galore, man. This guy, Carson Wentz, going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, he's not going to have the mental courage for it. The Eagles are going to destroy him. This is a great play for sure. I'm definitely targeting the Eagles. And then the next week, they got the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this is a little bit of a 2-week play here. Matchup-wise, definitely need to be going out and targeting them for sure. Next defense I want to talk about is a defense full of hungry guys who are just so physical, so dirty. I love watching this team. And man, there is no defense that got screwed by the offense on their team more than the New Orleans Saints, man. Jameis Winston and that offense gave up so many turnovers, put that defense in so many bad spots, or gave up touchdowns to the defense. In the case of Jameis Winston, pick sixes, right? That defense with the New Orleans Saints and Tyrann Mathieu, they were holding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to nothing. 3 points. They could not score touchdowns against that unit. They looked fantastic, man. I was loving their performance, right? And then it got a little bad towards the end. And again, that was because of those turnovers. But guess what? They're going up against Baker Mayfield, who has been anything but dangerous. In fact, if he's been dangerous to that offense. The Carolina Panthers look tremendously terrible. This is one of the grossest offenses to watch, maybe behind the Indianapolis Colts. Can't stand it. And for some reason, they don't give the ball to their only player, Christian McCaffrey. I definitely think the Saints are going to come out very hungry after this loss to the Bucs, and they're going to beat the shit out of Baker Mayfield, and they're going to get so many sacks on him. Man, I feel bad for him. The Giants got 2 sacks against the Carolina Panthers. This Saints team is going to eat them alive. That rookie offensive tackle is going to get eaten alive. I feel bad if you're a Panthers fan, and I feel bad if you're Baker Mayfield. Up next, we're going to talk about a team I didn't think was ever going to make it back to the top 5, guys. I was worried. Last year, they were one of my favorite defenses. Everybody knows it, and I was very scared I wasn't going to see them back in the top 5 again with how bad week 1 was with Dak Prescott going down. But we've got the Dallas Cowboys back in the top 5 defenses, guys. That week 2 performance against the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals was amazing, man. They got it done. This Cowboys team looked good. Cooper Rush looked good. Tony Pollard looked good. They are looking like a team still. I mean, they still got Mike McCarthy, who's an absolutely terrible coach, but that defense looked good. I was very impressed. And they're getting to go up against the New York Giants. They're going to go against Carson Wentz's apprentice of being the worst quarterback in football, Daniel Jones. Just a turnover machine for sure. He's been a little bit better this year, so I don't want to be too harsh on my guy Daniel Jones, but he's still pretty bad. And I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to feast on him for sure. And if you look at this, guys, this is a sweet treat right here. This is a tasty treat. They've got Danny Jones, and then they've got Carson Wentz. They've got the kings of turnovers these next 2 weeks. I'm definitely going after the Dallas Cowboys. They had 6 sacks and a 1 forced fumble against the Cincinnati Bengals. And man, I can see Diggs getting hungry for his first interception of the season. Up next, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens going up against the New England Patriots. And man, I don't know how the hell I'm talking about a defense right now that just gave up 40 freaking points and 6 passing touchdowns of Tua. But dude, they still had a decent game. They had 7 fantasy points, 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions, mind you, against Tua. But I don't know how the hell that happened, right? That was one of the wildest games. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill both got it done. That was a fun one for sure to watch all game long. But the week before that, they had 13 fantasy points, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a pick. Listen, the Ravens defense is definitely much improved from last season, which is a great relief. But this receiving core in Miami is the real freaking deal. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are 2 of the most electric players in all of football. The New England Patriots have nothing close to that. And one of their only touchdowns was very lucky, in my opinion, the big Hail Mary bomb to Nelson Aguilar on the sideline for a touchdown. I mean, that was very fluky, in my opinion. I still thought the Patriots offense looked pretty bad. Damon Harris got banged up too. I think the Ravens are going to come in here, and I think they're going to have a great game. Lamar Jackson has been very good against the Patriots in his career, so I think that's also going to give a boost to this defense. He's probably not going to put them in too many bad spots. I think this is definitely a defense you can be looking at on your waivers. Up next, we're going to talk about the Browns, guys. This is one that I got very close to choosing the defense on the other side, right? I think the Steelers and Browns are two very similar defenses. The Browns haven't had an electric game yet, only 5-7 over the last 2 weeks. Lost to the New York Jets, which was a big surprise, and only got 5 fantasy points off of a 2-sack, 2 forced fumble performance. That was very disappointing to me. I think they can have a much bigger game, and I think they will have a much bigger game at home against their division rival, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is still a defense which has shown us over this whole season that they still get to the quarterback with ease. And Mitchell Trubisky is starting to show his natural signs of being a bad quarterback. Already signs for Kenny Pickett. People are yelling for Kenny Pickett in the stands. I think this is the time where the Browns show that they are a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC North. I think the Browns bounce back after that last game, which is going to be really motivating them all week long, I'm sure, because losing to the Jets and Joe Flacco is an embarrassing feat. Next 2 weeks, they've got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons. That's a favorable schedule. And this is a nice game script in week 3 because these division AFC North rivalry games are gritty. They're typically low scoring, and that's exactly what you want to see in a defensive streaming option. So I'm definitely riding the Browns here. And with that said, guys, that has been the must-start defenses. Like always, please do hit those comments. Let me know any questions you have. Let me give you some advice on your personal waivers for who to pick up or who to start on your respective teams, guys. And we always do appreciate if you hit that like button. And most importantly, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the best community in all of fantasy football. Join the Catch fam, guys. And with that said, this has been the must-start defenses for your fantasy football teams going into week 3. And remember, you saw it here first at the Catch.